We're ready.
Can you hear me? Put your earphones on.
I can't.
He can't hear anything when he's got his headphones on. I guess he can't hear me. Hey guys, we are here at the tiny home community. I've got my oldest boy, Keegan, with me. How old are you, Keegan? Say it out loud.
8.
8. He's 8 years old. Keegan can now say every single one of his presidents.
60, 41. I mean 46.
Yeah, 46. He was looking at a book and he was singing the song, but now he doesn't even have to sing the song. He can say all 46. So Keegan likes to come with me to work and just hang out, but he also likes to be on YouTube some of the time. So I was like, you got to go to work with Daddy so you can be on YouTube, man. He's like, okay, I'll go today. So Keegan's here to hang out with Daddy and get some YouTube action in and put up some shiplap.
Make me work, make me sweat inside, make me feel like I'm alive. Take this hurt, lady, throw it in my face. Don't let these bones slow you down. 'Cause I'm coming on strong. The grass should have looked greener. I'd be a true believer in disguise.
We want to give you guys a little bit different video than what we normally do because we are still putting up shiplap and that's going to be a little repetitive, so I don't want to do too many videos or too many episodes on the exact same thing. I know we talked about last week on Friday's video that we had gotten through this first unit and we're working on the second unit, and we actually have a lot of the second unit done with about a day and a half worth of work last week. We're on a two-man crew, and one of the guys is at lunch right now, so it's one of my guys and my dad, Bad Brad, over there working. So I think we'll get probably pretty close on that second unit today with getting it done. So my goal would be to jump on the third one. I think last week we talked about the cabinet guys coming in. They were here this morning getting some more measurements. They're telling me they're gonna try to get the first unit in at the end of the week. That would be really exciting. I'm reaching out to some painters right now to try to get them in here and give me some pricing. We've had our go-to painters in the past, but this being such a small unit, being a lot of shiplap, Ashley's wanting, I think, to pretty much stain the whole interior. And so I want to get with some different guys and get some different pricing and maybe switch it up just to make sure that the quality is there, because we spent a lot of time putting all the shiplap up and we spent a lot of money. I just want to make sure we get a good job done. If the cabinets go in later this week, I mean, there's no reason why we can't start prepping the inside of this unit next week. As far as paint goes and stain, I know she's staining most of the walls. A lot of the cabinets will get painted, and I'm sure there'll be some doors painted, and of course the whole exterior will get painted. But yeah, I think that's kind of the goal that I have in my mind, is to get some painters in here next week on the first unit or two if we get cabinets in. Once again, I do not want to bore you guys with the continuation of which I've already seen, with continuing to put up shiplap. So today, I thought it would be a good time to talk about the financials of these units, as far as the cost and the cash flow side of things. With these being short-term rentals, I figured it'd be a good time to kind of talk about that. I think we've briefly have touched on numbers in the past, but I figured we'd go in a little bit more detail as far as those numbers go. I've built houses for other people in the past. I've built custom homes. I always tell people this is not the best thing to tell a customer when you're building a custom home, but I hate budgets. I mean, I really do. Like I build a good quality product, and a lot of the time, I mean, the budget is what it is. I mean, I'm gonna fight to get my pricing as low as I can, as far as getting material in bulk, shopping my subcontractors. If I feel like a subcontractor is getting a little high, I'll shop it and try to find someone that still will do a quality job, but is maybe cheaper. I don't like being the bad guy. I don't like saying, hey, this house is gonna cost 100 grand, and then by the time you're done with it in 6 months and there's been a few things added and materials gone up, or contractors change his pricing and it goes up to 105, 110. And of course we we build in contingencies. We build in a 10% over budget. And we try to say, I mean, if this line item costs $3,600, we try to round it up to $4,000. And again, I mean, if I get it done for $3,400, I mean, that savings is given to the customer. But again, I really dislike budgets, and as of right now and for the last few years, I don't do custom builds anymore. We pretty much, everything we do that we build is for ourselves, for our LLC, Briscoe Home, that we mostly keep for rentals and specifically short-term rentals through Airbnb. So yeah, when people say, hey, what does this cost? I mean, I kind of ballpark it. When I submitted this loan to the bank last spring is kind of when we started doing all the planning and budgeting and kind of getting everything ready. I think I submitted the budget for the structure itself, not including any of my infrastructure and the cost of land and clearing and all that good stuff. I put this unit at $65,000, which that's about a year ago now. And at the time, I think that was more than sufficient. And I had kind of fudged some numbers and fluffed them a little bit just to take in consideration some overages, or if we did change some stuff or add some things. And so as it sets right now, as we get close to finishing these here in the next month or two, we're probably going to be pushing high 60s, low 70s, just because, I mean, we've seen such an increase in lumber and material. My subs have gone up a little bit, not too much, but the biggest thing has just been the cost of material and lumber. That's what's really going to kill me on going over on budget on these specific homes. Now, a lot of people are going to say, golly, you're building a 450 square foot unit and you're building it for 65 grand. So people are going to say, holy cow, you're building a 450 square foot unit for 65 grand. That's $144 a foot. Yes, that is very, very expensive per foot, but you have to understand material has just gone up substantially. I mean, it's crazy how much material has gone up. I mean, we're sitting here, we're installing shiplap. I mean, shiplap is super expensive compared to sheetrock. And so that's something that's gonna raise the price per foot. I mean, we did the walls, the ceiling. We've got custom cabinets that are coming in that, yeah, 8 foot floor to ceiling's kind of normal. But I mean, over here, we've got a 12-foot wall that I've got cabinets going all the way up to the top, because that's the look we go for. To me, it looks way more custom. I hate to just stop my cabinets at 8 foot right here and then that 3.5, 4 foot up above just kind of be a void. That's just, if you look at some other projects and other houses we've done, that's something we really try to do. So I love taking it up to the ceiling because it looks more custom. These fireplaces that I'm gonna do, and you really can't even call it a fireplace. I mean, it is a wood burning fireplace. It's called a mini cubic, and they come in a really, really small, I think they call it a cub, and then they have a grizzly. And so we're doing the grizzly, and I think it's like 12 inches wide. It's like 13 inches deep. I mean, it's 12 by 12-ish. We're gonna place it right here, and that whole kit, the fireplace itself is like $450, which isn't that bad, but then we gotta buy like the stainless steel shield protector, and we got to buy all the flute and everything that goes up, the chimney, and the triple wall insulate. I mean, it's going to end up being like $1,500 for this whole setup. We are using the mini split to heat and cool the place, but something like this is just going to be, it's going to be really cool that people can use, and it's going to create, I mean, who doesn't like burning wood and a wood burning stove? So it's just an added benefit that wasn't part of the original budget. So I mean, that's $1,500. And the other thing I kind of tell people is when you build smaller, yeah, it's going to be cheaper to build a 450 square foot unit compared to a 1,400 square foot unit. But a kitchen's a kitchen. A fridge is a fridge. Like the kitchen in this house may cost the same as what it would cost in a 1,200 square foot home. My bathroom, I mean, it's a normal sized bathroom. A bathroom's a bathroom. A shower's a shower, toilet's a toilet. All those are fixed costs. Again, whether I'm building in a 450 square foot or if I'm building in a 1,450 square foot. When those costs are the same in a smaller unit versus a bigger unit, that's gonna raise the price per square foot. Just the fact that I'm doing things that are more expensive than our normal spec home, 1,000 square foot. This unit in general is going to be more per foot because of a lot of stuff that we're doing. With that being said, the unit itself is going to be around, we're gonna say 70,000-ish as of this month based off what we spent on lumber and everything else. So we have 6 units that we're doing. So 6 times 70, that's 420 grand for these structures. And I mean, that's pretty much going to count from doing the dirt work, the foundation being the concrete, up to the finished product. Now, there's going to be some infrastructure costs that gets shared between all 6 units. For example, the septic system we're putting in. We're going to do one septic system for all 6 units. So let's just call that a $12,000 unit. So that adds $2,000 per unit. And then we have the roadway that we've put in. You guys have seen in previous episodes, I mean, we're probably in that road for 18, 20 grand because we did a lot of dirt work to get it built up and to allow for drainage, to drain correctly, and to put the culverts and the tin horns in there. And of course, bringing in the rock and moving the rock. We brought in a 2-inch line. I mean, we end up running close to 1,500 square foot of 2-inch line. And we have cutoff valves and we have junction boxes. And so that was probably another 12 grand to do all that between the labor and the material and the install and all that good stuff. So there's some of those items that are fixed that go into the cost of this. One thing that we're not going to include as the cost is the land, because yeah, we have 55 acres here now, but this 55 acres was originally purchased to do our primary residence. We're going to have our farm here. We're going to run livestock, and it's going to be our homestead. So I'm not really going to take in consideration the cost of the land because that's kind of separate from what we're doing with these units. And so with all that being said, yeah, we're gonna call it about $70,000 per unit, not counting all the infrastructure and the cost of land. And so as far as what we're going to be cash flowing, when we put this on Airbnb, when I tell you these numbers, I'm kind of basing it off of what we're doing on a lot of our other Airbnb units. As of right now, we have 7 units. I think by the end of the year, adding these 6, that'll put us at 13. And then we've got a couple of lake properties we're doing. I think we're going to end up having 3 total. So that's going to put us at 14, 15, 16. And then if we get moved out here at the end of the year, our current primary residence will become a Airbnb unit. So we'll probably be at about 17 units by the end of the year. But the reason I'm referencing that is the 7 units that we do currently have, the numbers that we're doing, we range from as low as $150 a night on our tiny home trailer on the weekends, which I always tell you guys, we count the weekends as Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And we go all the way up to $295 a night. Our cabin and one of our Richardson properties, yeah, I mean, it pushes close to $300 a night between the Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Of course, during the weekdays, we make a little bit less. We drop the tiny home trailer down to, I mean, 70, 80, $100 a night during the weekdays, Sunday through Wednesday night. And so with what we've seen on some of our other units, we're anticipating these units averaging around $3,000 a month. So we have 6 units times the $3,000 will be about $18,000 a month is what we're looking at. That's what we're making total before we subtract out any of our expenses. As far as expenses, we can figure out that net number once we get some prices back on our insurance. I don't know exactly what our property taxes are going to be just yet. We can estimate on those items. We kind of know what our mortgage rate is going, or our mortgage payment's going to be based off what the debt is and what current interest rates are and what we're going to amortize it over. But yeah, I think we'll do a separate video on that once I get some quotes back and kind of figure out what our property taxes will be to figure out that net number. But yeah, we'll take that gross number of $18,000 a month. We're going to subtract our mortgage payment, our insurance, our taxes, and really the only other expense would be maintenance, which is kind of mowing and making sure everything's kept clean and firewood's being provided and things like that. With Airbnb, our cleaning fees are paid by the guest. What we call the hot tax, it gets paid by the guest, and then the Airbnb fees are very minimum on the host side. And so, like I said, we'll get into that net number in a different video. So today we're going to be breaking down that. We have broke down the gross rent that these units would be bringing in, and again, that's an estimate. I mean, this summer we may push $3,500, $4,000 a month per unit potentially, and then during the winter time, the fall and the winter, it will slow down a little bit. But we're just going to say on average $3,000 a month. And so I know that's a lot of numbers. I know this video may be a little boring to some of y'all, but I think about it from the perspective of how my mind works, and I love seeing these types of videos where people break down the financials of what a unit may cost and kind of justify where that cost is, and see what those units actually make versus what the actual cost is. And so I know you guys probably have plenty of questions. I know I'm probably gonna get some comments, people saying I'm crazy for building a 450 square foot unit that costs 65 grand. But the other thing I didn't mention earlier was, even though my heated and cooled space is 450 square foot, 30 by 15, I didn't really take into consideration my porch. I've got a 10 foot by 30 porch. So I mean, this is a 300 square foot porch, and then fir beams are, I forgot, they were $450, $550 a piece. I mean, I got 2 of those. I've got 4 12-inch LVLs that are wrapped in that 1x12 fir. I've got all my shiplap on the ceiling. I mean, I got a 12-foot wall on this side. I'm over 14 foot up here. So that's got to get taken into consideration also on the price per foot. And so, yeah, even though my living square footage is 450, my porch is 300, so that puts us at 750. But as you can see where my roof hangs over almost 2 foot all the way around, I mean, that's over 1,000 square foot metal roof that we put up there. So yeah, when I say $144 per square foot on the living square footage, you got to take in consideration the porch and everything else that went into consideration. And there's things we're doing. I'll show y'all. I'm getting my smokers made right now. That's another added expense. Those are gonna be put outside. We still have a lot of dirt work and sod that we have to do out here. From a very big picture number perspective, that's kind of where we're at. 70,000-ish per unit times 6 units, and we're going to be grossing around 18,000 bucks a month on these units. So I know you guys, if y'all are into the financials, you're into the numbers, you'll have a lot of questions. So please leave some comments down below. I'm being very transparent on what a lot of this stuff costs. I know I didn't tell you what everything costs, but again, I'm transparent with that. So you let me know what questions you have. I'd be more than happy to answer those. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at on this project. I mean, things always change. I mean, we're not done yet. I may get my painters in here and they give me a real high price versus what I put into the budget, and I may end up putting a lot more sod and grass outside. We may do some more outdoor stuff. We talked about doing a frisbee disc golf course. Nothing crazy, but just doing a few things like that. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So again, if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you've yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. And again, if you got any questions, leave some comments down below. Do you have anything to add, bro?
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Can I get some? Okay. And until next time.
Bye.
Peace. Okay, bye.